Chapter 21. Ethnographic Research. Introduction. A variety of approaches are used in ethnographic research to obtain a holistic picture of the particular situation being studied. This chapter discusses the ethnographic procedures needed to capture what is going on, the whole picture of what is learned about the situation. Ethnographic research is particularly appealing to many researchers because it can reveal nuances and subtleties that cannot be found by other methods. What is ethnographic research? Ethnographic research is particularly appropriate for behaviors that are best understood by observing them within their natural settings. The key techniques in all ethnographic studies are in-depth interviewing and highly detailed, almost continual, ongoing participant observation of a situation. A key strength of ethnographic research is that it provides the researcher with a much more comprehensive perspective than do other forms of educational research. 2. The unique value of ethnographic research. Ethnographic research has a particular strength that makes it especially appealing to many researchers. 3. Ethnographic concepts. Important concepts in ethnographic research include culture, holistic perspective, thick description, contextualization, a non-judgmental orientation, emic perspective, etic perspective, member checking, and multiple realities. Topics that lend themselves well to ethnographic research. Suitable topics include those that defy simple quantification, those that can best be understood in a natural setting, those that involve studying individual or group activities over time, those that involve studying the roles that individuals play and the behaviors associated with those roles, those that involve studying the activities and behaviors of groups as a unit, and those that involve studying formal organizations in their totality. 4. Sampling in ethnographic research. The sample in ethnographic studies is almost always purposive. The data obtained from ethnographic research samples rarely, if ever, permit generalization to a population. Do ethnographic researchers use hypotheses? Ethnographic researchers seldom formulate precise hypotheses ahead of time. Rather, they develop them as their study emerges. 6. Data collection in ethnographic research. The two major means of data collection in ethnographic research are participant observation and detailed interviewing. Researchers use a variety of instruments in ethnographic studies to collect data and to check validity. This is frequently referred to as triangulation. Field notes. Field notes are the notes a researcher in an ethnographic study takes in the field. They include both descriptive field notes, what he or she sees and hears, and reflective field notes, what he or she thinks about what has been observed. Field jottings refer to quick notes about something the researcher wants to write more about later. A field diary is a personal statement of the researcher's feelings and opinions about the people and situations being observed. A field log is a sort of running account of how the researcher plans to spend time compared to how he or she actually spends it. 7. Data analysis in ethnographic research. Analysis consists of continual reworking of data with emphasis on patterns, key events, and use of visual representations in addition to interviews and observations. 8. Roger Harker and his fifth-grade classroom. The study took place in a naturalistic setting in the classroom and school of Roger Harker. The researcher did not try to manipulate the situation in any way. There was no comparison of methods or treatments, as is often the case in experimental or causal comparative research. The study involved only a single classroom, an N of 1. The researcher was a participant observer, participating in the life of the school to the extent possible. The researcher used several different kinds of instruments to collect his data. The researcher tried to present a holistic description of this teacher's fifth-grade classroom. The study revealed much that would have been missed by researchers using other methodologies. No attempt was made to generalize the researcher's findings to other settings or situations. There is no way, unfortunately, to check the validity of the data or the researcher's interpretations, unless another researcher had independently observed the same classroom. 9. Advantages and disadvantages of ethnographic research. A key strength of ethnographic research is that it provides a much more comprehensive perspective than other forms of educational research. It lends itself well to topics that are not easily quantified. Also, it is particularly appropriate for studying behaviors best understood in their natural settings. Like all research, ethnographic research also has its limitations. It is highly dependent on the particular researcher's observations. Furthermore, some observer bias is almost impossible to eliminate. Lastly, generalization is practically non-existent. An example of ethnographic research. In the remainder of this chapter, a published example of ethnographic research is presented, followed by a critique of its strengths and weaknesses. 11. Analysis of the study. A. Purpose/justification/prior research. The purpose is implied in two places: to investigate young children's experiences during their first year of school, abstract, and to challenge existing views as to the value of children's information, introduction. B. Procedures/instrumentation. The study is a partial ethnography conducted over a one-year period. C. Sample. The sample is described with regard to sex, cultural background, school type, and location. D. Definitions. The key term, children's perspectives, is clarified using a conceptual diagram having 5 themes, each of which is constitutively defined on page 469. E. Research question and hypothesis. The research question for the study is clearly stated: how do children's perspectives of themselves as members of their classroom and school COP evolve during their kindergarten year? p. 465. The hypothesis also stated on page 465 is not a hypothesis because can neither be supported nor refuted by research evidence. F. Data analysis. The author recognizes the limitations on generalizing but should also acknowledge the limitation of depending on the interpretations of a single researcher.